and welcome to the House Committee on Municipal Government and Housing. Let us have an attendance. Christopher? Or Dawn? Roll call.
I will now take the attendance. Chairman Hull.
Present.
First Vice Chair Fogarty.
Present.
Second Vice Chair Speakman.
Present.
Representative Alzate.
Present.
Representative Barros. Representative Cardillo. Representative Edwards. Representative Kazarian.
Here.
Representative Lima. I believe Representative Lima is on the virtual.
She is.
Representative Stephen Lima. Representative Morales.
Present.
Representative Morgan. Representative Price.
Here.
Representative Shanley.
Here.
Representative Williams. That completes the attendance. You have a quorum, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. We now move to bills to be heard for further study. I entertain a motion. Vice Chair Fogarty.
Thank you. I motion that we hold, I motion that we hold House Bills 5025, 5035, House 5101, House 5102, House 5106, and House 5129.
I now ask for a second.
Second.
Representative Shanley.
It's been moved and seconded.
Moved and seconded. Could we have a roll call vote?
Representative Chairman Hull, how do you vote?
Hold.
First Vice Chair Fogarty, what is your vote?
Hold.
Second Vice Chair Speakman, your vote? Hold. Representative Alzate, your vote, please.
Hold.
Representative Cardillo, your vote. Representative Kazarian, your vote,
Hold.
please.
Oh, hold.
Representative Charlene Lima. I think she has to be unmuted.
She may be having technical difficulties.
Representative Morales, your vote.
Hold.
Representative Morgan, your vote, please.
Hold.
Representative Price, your vote.
Hold.
Representative Shanley.
Hold.
That completes the roll call vote.
Thank you. We now move to two bills to be heard for consideration of voting by the committee. Vice Chair Fogarty.
First, we're going to look at House Bill 5024 by Representative Caldwell, and this is an act authorizing the Exeter-West Greenwich Regional Bonds and School District, to issue and not exceed $17,840,000 in general obligation bonds and notes to finance renovation, rehabilitation improvements, furnishing and equipment of schools and school facilities throughout the district, and that plus other types of structures around the school system, and that the authorization shall be reduced by the amount of certain grants received from the state bond proceeds from the Rhode Island Department of Education or from the Rhode Island School Building Authority. Representative Caldwell is here.
Thank you. Representative Caldwell, would you like to speak on the bill?
Yes. Can I stay here? Is that okay?
That is fine.
Okay, perfect. Hi, thank you, Chairman. Thank you, members of the committee. This is a bill that was sent to me on behalf of one of the school districts in my district, Exeter-West Greenwich. And I did send the clerk 3 resolutions from the town and the school committee to go along with this bill. And it also is time sensitive because they do want to vote on it on an all-day referendum in April. So that's why we asked for it to be moved quickly through the committee. And thank you.
And all resolutions have been presented, correct?
Yes.
Thank you. Any other questions on the bill? Ms.
Representative-
Morgan, please.
Representative Caldwell, do you know what the match is? I noticed that you're expecting the $17,840 to be reduced by state bond. Do you know what you expect?
Representative, I don't, but I can ask and I can follow up and get that info for you so you can have it.
All right, so you don't know what the match is for?
I don't.
Okay, thank you.
Please excuse me, Ms. Morgan, it's Representative Morgan. Please excuse me. Any other testimony on the bill? I now ask a motion that we now
Motion to move bill number 5024.
Second.
roll call.
It's been moved and seconded.
It's been moved and seconded.
Yeah, I seconded it. Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. Rep. Morgan has another question.
Rep. Morgan?
Chairman, my understanding is that these used to go through the Finance Committee because there was an effect on the state budget. So, since we don't know yet what that effect on the state budget is, should we be passing it now?
It's already passed through the Senate at this time. We need to get it out right away for the town. Is that correct? And that's what we're doing now.
I understand
interest of the
that, but we always ran these through the Finance Committee because there is ultimately an effect there.
I understand. I will take that up at future bills.
Okay.
Thank you. Clerk, it's been moved and seconded. Could
Now,
we
roll call.
now have a vote?
Chairman Cole,
Yes.
First Vice Chair Fogarty,
Yes.
Second Vice Chair Speakman,
Yes.
Representative Alzate.
Yes.
Representative Cardillo. Representative Cazarian.
Yes.
Representative Morales.
Yes.
Representative Morgan.
Yes.
Representative Price.
Yes.
Representative Shanley.
Yes.
That completes the roll call.
Thank you. We now move to for bills to be heard and considered and be voted by this committee, H5181. Representative Fogarty.
This bill, you can hear me, excuse me. House Bill 5181 by Representative or Chairman Asanaro is an act relating to the authorization the town of Westerly to issue not to exceed $2 million general obligation bonds, notes, and other evidence of indebtedness to finance the construction, renovation, improvement, alteration, repair, refurnishing, and equipment of schools and school facilities in the town. Chairman Asanaro is here. Would you like to speak on your bill?
Thank you, Vice Chair. Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, members of the committee. I would hopefully move passage of this town resolution. They are looking to have this money would be accepted on a vote of the people of Westerly, so that in the future, I'm not sure what date they're going to put on this. They missed the March 2nd date to piggyback on the state bond referendum, so they will pick another date to have this referendum voted by the people of Westerly. So if it doesn't pass the people of Westerly, it doesn't pass, but I believe it will for $2 million for renovations to the school. So I would hopefully respect that you move passage on this bill tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. I do have a resolution from the town of Westerly stating exactly what you stated
Yes.
to the committee. Any other questions on the bill?
No. Hearing none, I move that we move House Bill 5181.
Second.
I now ask for a roll call vote.
Chairman Cole,
Yes. Yes.
First Vice Chair Fogarty,
Aye.
Second Vice Chair Speakman,
Yes.
Representative Alzate.
Yes.
Representative Cardillo. Yes. Representative Kazarian.
Yes.
Representative Morales.
Yes.
Representative Morgan.
Yes.
Representative Price.
Yes.
Representative Shanley.
Yes.
That completes the roll call vote.
One, I believe Shanley Lima, Representative Lima just... Oh, it's Stephen Lima.
Stephen Lever has just joined the meeting, so I didn't know if he wanted to be included in the vote to hold all bills, and not all bills, the 5 bills that we mentioned, and then if you'd like to move on House Bill 5181 that we're voting on now, and 5024.
We'll give them a minute to join.
Oh, okay.
In the process.
Okay, hopefully he heard me. All right. We can go back to him. So that was a vote count of what, Dawn? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
I know this, I'm double masked, I'm sorry. So that was a vote tally of how many votes?
10.
All in favor? Yeah, okay.
Bill's moved.
Yep, bill is moved.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, let us move back to the bills that we held for further study.
All right, so the next bill that we will hear is House Bill 5, I will take my mask off. House Bill 5025, and this is from Representative, Deputy Leader Newberry, and it's an act relating to taxation in North Smithfield, historic residence tax credit. Is Representative Mr. Newberry, oh, he is there, okay, I didn't see you. If you'd like to speak, please go right ahead. The floor is yours.
Is the mic on? Okay. Thank you, Madam Vice Chairman. Very briefly, it's a town bill from the town of North Smithfield to allow the North Smithfield Local Historic Commission to take over the duties that are delegated typically to the State Commission when it comes to the historic tax credit. It was passed unanimously by the council. Administrator backed it. I do have one thing I want to point out to the committee. We have a town council resolution. It came from before the new town council was inaugurated in December. I checked with our legal counsel. He thinks that's not a problem. I know that the current town council supports this as well. I just want to make sure you don't need another resolution. I don't think you do, but we can just verify that or put that on the record at some point. And my idea being that the current council could always revoke the resolution that's out there. They know about it, so. And it's the same body, more or less, anyway.
Will you be getting us that after?
No, I'm saying you have a resolution.
We do have a resolution.
And I
I didn't
think
know if you
I think
wanna
it's
let the-
good. What you have is good. I just want to flag that. I don't want someone to flag it later. I think it's fine. But I
Okay.
just want that verified before it passes. I don't think it's a problem.
Okay. And thank you, Representative Newberry. And I see that there's written testimony also by Richard Kern from North Smithfield Heritage, and he is pro on your bill.
Okay, good. I was going to say, I thought he was going to dial in, but he's the head of the commission in North Smithfield, so his written testimony will explain the reasoning behind it.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. It says written testimony, so.
Okay, is there any more hearings on,
Any questions?
any more questions? Representative Morgan.
When the historic tax credits were first passed, and that must have been back in, 2008 or 9, something like that, or maybe before, there was a lot of abuse of the historic tax credits for people who owned single-family homes that were historic, and they were using them mostly up, I think, on the east side, but I think all over the state. They were just gobbling up the tax credits, and they were for private homes. And that made it then that there's only so many tax credits that are allowed in any particular year because there's only so much that our budget can handle. And I just recall that we actually changed the tax credits so they could not be used for single-family homes. And it seems to me that that's what this is doing, is asking for single-family homeowners to get state historic tax credits. And I didn't do the research, but I think that there was that issue that they were just soaking up those historic tax credits, so that when we went to mills and other structures like that, there was no money left in the pot. So
Chairman, may I address that?
Yes, you may.
Yeah, if you actually read the bill, you'll see all this does is transfer for North Smithfield who gets to make that determination. Whether that's a valid concern or not, it may well be about housing versus commercial or whatever. The current statute actually allows residences to be classified. So that's a different issue for a different day.
Thank you. Thank you, Representative Morgan. Any other questions? Mr. Morales, Representative Morales.
Representative, what is the structure of the North Smithfield Local Historic District Commission?
Off the top of my head, I honestly don't know. We're a small town, so I could probably name you most of the members, but I don't know the actual structure. I know it's been in place in the town for a long time.
Yeah, thank you. Because in my research, I could not find any information on who is on this commission, and I'm slightly concerned that the town council president gets to appoint 7 individuals on this commission who will now have the ability and the authority to provide tax credits as they see fit.
Is that a question?
I don't know if you had a response to that in general.
Not really, no.
And then just furthermore, I just had one
Okay.
other question.
Proceed.
Through reading the bill, I just want to know, is there an estimate of how much tax revenue the town of North Smithfield would be estimated to lose?
There's not, but since the town council ultimately has control over this, I would defer to my local officials when it comes to tax questions like that, because that's their domain of responsibility.
Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Morales. Any other questions? Okay. That concludes the hearing on 5025. Vice Chair Speckman.
Thank you, Chairman. We'll open the hearing on House Bill 5035, which is sponsored by Whip Kazarian. It's an act relating to state affairs and government, housing for the elderly with regard to emergency generators. Whip Kazarian?
Hi, can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
All right, wonderful. Thank you very much. Is this bill would, so right now in Rhode Island law, all high-rises with 100 people or more have to have a generator to power,
Excuse me,
oh.
Whip, it's tough to hear you. I mean,
Oh.
can you come up to where Representative Asanaro was,
oh, yeah, sure.
please?
Oh, thanks, guys. Oh, this is a better view.
Thank
How's
you.
it going, everyone?
Proceed.
Thank you. So right now in Rhode Island law, any high-rise, senior high-rise residential area or residential building has to have a generator to power the common areas should there be a power outage. As many of you probably know, East Providence has experienced a significant amount of power outages in the past year. And during our last power outage, which was the 5th one in the past year, I had a senior from one of my high-rises call me. She was very concerned. She had insulin in her fridge. The power had gone out for, I think, over 10 hours, and she couldn't go into the common areas because of COVID, and she was worried that her medicine that was pretty expensive was going to go bad in her fridge. So that was the impetus for me to put in this bill. The idea would be that, with all these power concerns in East Providence, make sure that our seniors are taken care of, make sure that they're getting the power that they need, so that they're not worried about either exposing themselves to potential sickness in COVID and going into a common area, and just make sure that they're able to get the medical attention they need with the power that they need.
Sounds like a good bill.
Thank you.
Any questions on it? Representative Fogarty?
I don't have any questions on that. I just was just going to read that the testimony, Jim Newberry from Leading Age Rhode Island was Khan. I don't know if he's calling in.
He's not waiting on the line.
Oh, he's waiting on the line.
Yes, I am.
Mr. Newberg?
Yes.
Oh, I'm Vice Chair Kathleen Fogarty here at Municipal Government, and we're discussing House Bill 5035. So you have the floor.
Okay, thank you, Madam Vice Chair. Leading Age Rhode Island, we represent nonprofit long-term care providers, including affordable senior housing providers. And so on behalf of these members, I just like to take this opportunity to express our concern about this bill that would require elderly housing apartments with 100 or more units to have a generator to power individual units. Currently, as Rep. Kazarian said, they're used to provide power for elevators, emergency lighting, and common areas. But our concern with the requirement that individual units be connected to a generator is simple. They just do not have any funding to comply with such a mandate. These properties are financed by the Federal Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD, and they operate under strict regulations in terms of the rent they can charge to residents, among other issues. So there is no apparent way that they could cover the significant costs because they cannot pass it along to their residents in terms of rent, and there really are no other funding sources. The financial burden of this could be well into the hundreds of thousands of dollars. For example, for a 100-unit development, it could cost up to $400,000 according to one estimate from a member of mine. But we certainly do appreciate and share the concern about frail individuals in senior housing who require oxygen or medication stored at cold temperatures. But as noted, providers do have power in the common areas, and there have been no issues that I know of. In addition, most of these individuals are registered in the state's Special Needs Registry, which is specifically focused on helping individuals on oxygen or other life support systems or other critical needs. So one suggestion that might better support senior housing residents during a power outage would be to prioritize them for power restoration by National Grid. I think that would be the quickest and easiest way to help ensure their safety and well-being. But we thank Rep. Kazarian's interest in this issue and the committee's interest in this issue and your consideration of these comments. Thank you very much.
Chairman Hull here. Could you expand a little bit on that National Grid piece? We're going to mandate that they do this instead of us finding funding for this process?
Well, the thought would be that when there's a power outage, certain facilities are prioritized for power restoration, obviously hospitals and nursing homes, but that we also roll senior high-rises into the priority list for power restoration. That's all that I'm suggesting as one way to address this issue.
Thank you. This is Representative Kazarian. I sit on the committee. I also sponsored the legislation. I do want to thank you for your feedback on the bill. Something that was actually brought to my attention is with the National Grid prioritization, I can't speak, list for putting the power back on in certain areas, they treat senior high-rises as one address versus it being potentially hundreds of addresses. So maybe that's something we can look at, something we could address so that they're seeing, more residents in one spot versus it just being one address.
Good.
Thank you.
Very good.
Yeah, that sounds like a common sense clarification, and I understand where you're coming from. My leading age's office is in East Providence, so I'm a office constituent of yours, and I do understand the experience of power going out a lot in East Providence.
Oh, it's the worst. Thank you.
So we welcome some more input on the bill. Thank you. Are there any other?
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Representative Morales?
I had a question for the witness, if I may. Are you still on?
Mr. Nyberg, are you still there?
Yep.
Okay.
I just had a question. How much does it currently cost to equip emergency generators in common areas?
How much it currently costs, I don't know. That estimate that I gave you of $400,000 was based on all the wiring that would need to be done to connect the individual units and the related work with that, as well as having to add a new generator to handle the electrical load. So the generators are one cost, but then there's the actual wiring and all the other capital construction that needs to be done. But I think there's some other experts also on the witness list that might be able to answer the specifics about how much a generator costs. But it's a whole package of expenses, not just a generator.
Thank you.
Any other? Representative Morgan?
No.
Another?
No, she was waving.
I hear no more questions. I want to thank you, Whip Kazarian, for bringing the bill.
Well, there's a few other witnesses. I'm not sure if anybody else is calling in. It had Mr. Nyberg with a number next to it. Chris, is anybody else scheduled to call?
That's it.
That's it on that bill? All right, so there was a Peter Ashen from Providence Heritage Authority. He was also caught on the bill. A Patrick Gamlin from Flynn Law Group, who was also caught on the bill. Frank Bragantine from Fairland Corp. was con on the bill. Ronald Serpa from Purcern Real Estate, was con. And Andrew Spoford from the Preservation of Affordable Housing was also con on the bill. That's the witness sheet. Thank you.
Okay, that concludes the hearing on 5035. Representative, we now move to House Bill 5101.
And-
Representative Fogarty.
Okay, thank you. House Bill 5101 is from Chairwoman Ruggiero, and it is an act validating and ratifying amendment to the charter of the town of Jamestown.
I had Chairman Ho. I did hear from Representative Ruggiero today. There she comes right now. If you may, Representative, we're going to speak on your bill. Your bill is
Your
in
bill is
motion.
in play right now. Oh, she just walked in the door for those who can't see on TV. And we see, Chairwoman Ruggiero, that you have a resolution for your bill? Yes. From the town of Jamestown? Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much for hearing this bill from the town of Jamestown. It's really just an act that's ratifying the town of Jamestown's home rule charter, an amendment to Section 219 of the charter. It really concerns the election where we had a financial voter initiative for a new library.
Thank you. Any other?
And I have all the documentation, which I've sent to the clerk.
Thank you. We have that. Any other questions on the bill?
Thank you so much for hearing this bill, and I appreciate all your work. Good night.
Thank you. And that concludes House Bill 5101. We now move to House Bill 5102. Representative Speakman.
Thank you, Chairman. House Bill 5102 by Representative Price appears to be the same as Representative Caldwell's bill. Representative Price, this is bill authorizing the Exeter-West Greenwich Regional School District to issue not to exceed $17.84 million for general obligation bonds. Representative Price.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, this is the duplicate bill of the Representative Caldwell's bill. So all the resolutions from the town, both town, Exeter and West Greenwich, have been sent in. So I just signed on to her bill, so this bill could just be scrubbed.
Thank you. That concludes the hearing
Thank you.
on 5102. We now move to House Bill 5106. Representative Fogarty.
House Bill 5106 is by Representative Falella, and this is an act relating to taxation, levy, and assessment of local taxes, which allows the town of Johnston to adopt a tax classification plan independent of the provision of 44-5-11.8. And I see Representative Falella is here.
Good
Welcome.
evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee.
Welcome.
Thank you. As First Vice Chair Fogarty stated, this is an act with the Town of Johnston to adopt a tax classification plan independent of the provisions in 44-5-11.8. And I do have a resolution that I turned into the clerk earlier yesterday, so you should have that in your packets as well. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Any testimony on the bill? Hearing none. I now, Representative Morales.
Hi, Representative. While reviewing this bill, I just want to say it definitely makes a ton of sense, and I'm very supportive of it. I just had a question. Is there any estimate of any sort how and if this tax classification plan would affect the local tax revenue for the city of Johnston?
Unfortunately, Representative Morales, I don't have that with me, but I'd be glad to get that to you. Get that in the packet for everyone.
Thank you, Representative Falella. And that, if there's no other questions, that concludes H5106, and we now move to H5129. Vice Chair Speakman.
Thank you, Chairman. House Bill 5129 is sponsored by Chairwoman Casimiro. It is an act relating to taxation and proposes to exempt from taxation the real property of Ocean State Community Wellness, a qualified tax-exempt corporation under 501c3 for property located at 7450 Post Road, North Kingston, Rhode Island.
I hear any, Representative Casimiro.
Thank you,
Proceed.
Chairman. Thank you, members of the committee. Ocean State Community Wellness is part of the philanthropic arm of Ocean State Job Lot. They purchased the former West Bay YMCA, and they've applied for nonprofit status. The town of North Kingstown has been approached to exempt their property from taxes. You have the appropriate paperwork in your packets, and we just ask that we move this forward so they can have their tax exempt status. I believe Town Council President Greg Mancini is on the line waiting to testify as well.
Mr. Mancini, could you proceed? Greg? He didn't answer the phone. Okay, is there anybody with any other questions? Representative Morales? Proceed, Mr. Morales.
Hi, Representative.
Hello.
Just had a general question. What is the difference between Ocean State Community Wellness and a traditional gym?
They provide scholarships and stuff like that to members who can't afford their own membership fees, just like the Y. Their model is based on the YMCA, which is already a not-for-profit.
And just to clarify, you said there is a town resolution in support of this?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, any other questions on 5129? With that, that concludes 5129. I make before we adjourn, I would like to just tell you something for the committee members that are here. We will be operating a little differently in this committee, and I will be utilizing my vice chairs, just to let you know. So you just understand that, and that's what's going on here, so that they're part of the committee. They are vice chairs, and I will use them accordingly. Okay. So that's what's going on, and that's what we will be conducting ourselves moving forward. So with that...
No, so with that, we have both Charlene and Steve Lima, not a couple, on the line, making that clear. And I would like to see if they would like to vote in the affirmative on holding bills. Let me just see that sheet of paper. Holding bills, House 5025, 5035, 50101, 5102, House Bill 5106, and House Bill 5129. And if they'd like to be voted in the affirmative on passing House Bill 5024 and House Bill 5181, if we could get them on the line for their votes.
Christopher?
Hi, Steve.
Oh, that's Steve.
Yes, that's fine.
Go
Okay.
ahead, proceed.
All right. And is Charlene on the line? I think Charlene's on mute. We're trying to get her? Okay.
Please bear with us.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Charlene.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
I believe we have everyone that I entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
I conclude this meeting. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I don't know why I just thought.